It was good, everyone. It was good, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of 2TallPodcast with D and Q. I'm the host, 2TallPodcast, Derek J. Hall, 2Tall Hall. Thank you. My co-host is not here yet. He's running late, so is my guest. But the show must go on. The show must go on, and it will go on. I'm glad that we are doing this episode. I have my studio, which I am going to just work on my studio once a month. We are going to head out to BK and do that beautiful studio once a month. It's time consuming, it's very financial, so I had to really think about how to process everything. And then I forgot that I have StreamYard. I love the people at StreamYard. They are really easy to work with to do podcasts. So moving forward, we're back to doing consistency. We're back every Monday night. I know I always say that we're back every Monday night, and I think the ones that want to tune in and check us out, and I appreciate it. But before we get into today's episode, we need to clear something up, because here on 2TallPodcast, we're not about to let disrespect slide and call it peace. So I invited a guest to come on to this podcast, a simple invite, conversation, dialogue. Instead of just saying no, he explained that he didn't want to come on because it wouldn't look good for the message he's trying to send. And he said it wouldn't look good for his viewers. He's a rapper and everything. Good for you, doing your rap shit. Congrats. He didn't want to give people the wrong idea. I guess the wrong idea that, you coming on a gay podcast, you'll end up magically gay. That's like Lucky Charms. At the end of the rainbow, you magically turn gay and shit like that. And on top of that, he reduced me and my co-host, calling us a quote, 2 rainbow flags. Yeah. Of course, I'm not going to just allow that disrespect. Definitely put it out there. But I just want to clear the air as well for anybody that got the wrong idea of what kind of show this is. First of all, 2TallPodcast is not here to manage anybody's insecurities. If standing next to 2 gay men confuses your audience about who you are, that means you haven't done the work to be solid in yourself. That's one. Because a real man, let me say that again, a real man knows exactly who he is. He doesn't panic in a room with people who live a little differently than him. He doesn't worry about the optics every time he's next to somebody who isn't in a mirror, And I just found it real funny that in 2026 we're still dealing with that shit. I'm gay, and I know there's a lot of DL now. Supposedly are straight. But confidence doesn't need a disclaimer. Being on a podcast with 2 gay men does not threaten your identity. It doesn't stop you from being who you are, your masculinity or your message, unless your message is built on fear, and if you're more worried about people thinking that you're gay just by you chilling with 2 gay dudes, that's something personal, and I just found that comment to be real interesting, and I don't want to stay on this for too long. I definitely hope Quetin comes on, but it had to be said. Speaking of devil. All right, co-host, how you doing, Mr. Quetin?
Oh my God. Hold on.
You good? Can you hear me?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just talking about the you tell me what's going on after we get off the air. But I was just saying to the people who was watching, about the comment that I showed you, and about us being rainbow flags. Um, reducing us to rainbow flags isn't edgy. It's immature. Actually, it's lazy, and it shows a lack of exposure, growth, and emotional rage. Because last time I checked, my co-host name is Quentin. My name is Derek. We are not, rainbow flags. And I can and Quentin, please dive in if you want. But this podcast is not about labels. It's about conversation. We talk music. We talk pop culture. We talk about dating and relationships from all sides. Sometimes we talk about how gay relationships work out. Sometimes we talk about straight relations. We talk mental health. We talk about health. We talk about other things but other than to be labeled as a gay podcast is something that I'm not rocking out with. That's why I'm just going so hard, because this man right here is more loyal than any straight man I have ever met. So I'm definitely had to defend him. This is an open platform where we welcome gay, we welcome straight, we welcome men, women, trans, whoever you are. Black, white, Puerto Rican. This is the safe space where you should be able to come on, be who you are, and be comfortable in your skin. Be you. Be you. We won't tolerate disrespect, but be who you are. Because I'm 9 out of 10. The same men that are saying they don't fuck with gay men are the same ones doing shit behind closed doors with the gay men. So yeah. But I said what I said, and we're going to leave it at that. It is now time to get the show started. Quentin, welcome back. I was just telling the lovely people that we are going to be doing 2TallPodcast moving forward virtually. We'll do studio for special occasions once a month. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you too. It's good to be seen. Sorry that I was late.
Nope.
Here with a little something, but I'm here now. Here we are. Here we go.
Yes. And we got a good one. I want to talk, I hope AJ, our straight guest, because he's comfortable being around two gay men. Very brave of him. Be brave in this crazy time. I love it. We're going to be talking about.
Before you say that, though,
yeah, go for it.
Just jump in real quick.
Yeah,
I know
please.
I missed what you said in the beginning, and I hate that I missed what you said in the beginning, but I know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And I just want to add in there too that, like you said, this is not necessarily a gay or queer podcast per se. We are two gay men, but that doesn't mean that that's all we are. We talk about a multitude of different things. And also just to say that for people who, I don't know, who have an issue either being around or don't want to be associated with gay people or queer people or anybody that's different than you, get over yourself. You live on Earth. And on planet Earth, there are all different types of people.
Let alone in New York as well.
Different races, different sexualities, different body types, different everything. We're all here together. So get over yourself. We're all here together. We got to mingle. We got to make it work together. So stop all this division. Shit.
Yeah. And again, not going to say the person because I'm not trying to be messy. I'm not. But if you're watching, we'll welcome you to come on and let's have this discussion, because you're not doing me if this is actually a good topic discussion, which will be, held down the road. So please, we would love to have you on. We're not trying to tarnish anybody. That's your opinion. I just want to know, let's talk about it. Enough. We're so quick to want to shoot people and kill people and try to. No, first of all, I have no ill will towards that person. I don't want to beat him up or anything like that. I don't need to do that. That's petty. That's beneath me, literally, physically. But I won't tolerate disrespect towards my show or my podcast or my friend / co-host. So that's done. Now, yes, period. We're talking poly relationships. Is poly relationships relevant in 2026? Is that the new wave? Is monogamy still around? Is it still relevant? I got this conversation because, and here we go. I missed adding that. Does it look smaller? It's been a while since we've been on. Does it look smaller? Can you see?
It's small for me, but that's because of the way it shows up on the screen from me. On the big screen, it may not be as small, actually.
Well, can you read it?
No, I cannot. But then again, I'm also doing this on my phone right now.
Okay. So I got this. Yeah, it does look small. We haven't done this in a while, so bear with us.
I know. Back to the bones.
Yeah, listen, we was living large and in charge, and then that studio bill hit us. So basically, I got this conversation because Nelly, Neo, is not legally married, but is in a public polyamorous relationship with 4 women who he refers to as his wives. The women identified as Christina, Arletta Hill, Moni, and a 4th partner are in a committed consensual relationship with him, with the group often sharing their life together. And it had me thinking, I don't see that many Black people. You said with me, Q?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't see that many Black people doing polyamorous relationships. Mainly that's for white people. But that's what I always thought growing up. But love is for whoever. It doesn't really matter. But why is it that, he took a lot of heat. He has 4 girlfriends. Out in Saudi Arabia, people do that. Why is it that that's frowned upon in the Black community, let alone here in America?
I have my thoughts, for sure. I'll say one thing is, one thing for sure is in the United States, we're definitely a lot more pulled back publicly anyway. Let me put it that way. Very publicly, we're a lot more conservative, a lot more pulled up when it comes to things like sexuality, about nudity, about anything that doesn't look perfect or doesn't look proper. We're kind of prudish about those kinds of things compared to a lot of other countries. And also, our country doesn't have a specific religion, but the majority of people in this country, if they had to choose a religion, would say that they're Christian. And a lot of people who are Christian don't see polyamory as a thing that they can do. I mean, it goes against a lot of the things that are in the Bible, or a lot of the things that we're taught that are in the Bible. And Black people specifically, in general, religion has like a strong hold on us. And it has been that way since we've been in this country. And that, I think, guides a lot of why some Black people aren't comfortable expressing that out loud. Because I looked up some statistics, and really it's not that different between the races as far as like Black and white people and other nationalities too who do polygamous relationships. It's just the ones who answer it or feel more free to talk about it are usually the white people, and they just tend to be a little bit more open about speaking about things than Black people do. We're a little bit more conservative, like I said, about the things that we do, especially private things. You keep things that are private at home. You don't talk about those kinds of things, and it's just not something that's truly widely accepted yet in our communities.
Well, I hear you. I know in gay culture, I see a lot of people who are in polyamorous relationships, and I guess it works. But let's stay there for polyamory. I always thought polyamorous was another way of saying cheating. Because it's basically you with one person, then another person. Listen, I'm trying to make the one dude I have now happy. The hell I'm trying to do with 2 other niggas. It took me 2 weeks to get his name correct. Because this shit was fucking exotic. Now I gotta learn 2 other men's name. Why is cheating Why is cheating often about evidence and not desire? In a poly relationship, some people will say it's cheating. Some people will say it's not cheating. I had a friend who I wanted to have on who said that, he's in a polyamorous relationship with a man and a woman. He doesn't consider it cheating. He considers it desire. Do you agree in a polyamorous relationship that it's more of desire for each other and it's not really cheating?
I do believe that I don't know if desire is the word I would use. I mean, that's part of it, I guess, but I don't know that that would be the single defining word I would use. But I would say for a polyamorous relationship, what makes it a true relationship as opposed to just cheating is cheating involves deception. When you cheat on somebody, that's you doing something with somebody else, and the person that you're with, so to speak, doesn't know that you're doing something else. In a polyamorous situation, everybody is on board. Everybody knows about everybody else, and so there's no deception. Everybody agrees, everybody's fine with it, everybody's open to it. So that's the difference in it being cheating or not. So I don't think it's cheating. Now, what you said about like having it took you a while to learn, your dude's name because there's different things you have to learn about people. I think it's probably a lot more work because just dealing with one person is a lot of work, let alone dealing with multiple people. You got to remember different facts about these people. You got to remember their names, obviously. You got to remember what you did with this one or with that one. So, I mean, there's a lot more of that involved. But if that's what that person or those people want, more power to you as long as everybody's an adult. That's what I say. And as long as everybody is in on it, there's no deception.
Well, what you said sounds good, but let's go back to Neo. Neo was on, like I said, I think he was on the 2Tall show, and
I think it was, yeah.
And he said that all four of them are not contracted to him, but they can't see other men outside of him. So they have to all be with him. They all have to give his attention. So wouldn't that just basically be a monogamy relationship with just a little extra salt to it added? Because if they can't, I thought polyamorous was about being free and like living in your truth and like dating other people and feeling the spirits and all that BS. But I can only date you. But every time I go into the kitchen, you have another person added to the roster. So why is it that he can eat his cake and have his cake and eat it too, but they can't? Might as well just say monogamy.
I don't think I would be cool with that. Like if I was one of those women, I don't think I would be cool with not having that same option. However, in his case, he apparently found 4 women who were okay with that arrangement. And again, these are adults. So who's to say? I think the thing that trips a lot of people up, and I know it's hard to get out of this box because most of us are raised with the monogamy lens. Like that's just the way most people are raised and socialized. But I think as time is going on and people are evolving and we're evolving in our existence and what possibilities there are as human beings, I think a lot of us are just learning that some of the stuff we were taught is so limiting. And who's to say what you do with your life? Your life is your life. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. It doesn't matter what mama taught you, daddy taught you, pastor taught you. The things that apply to you, take them with you. If it doesn't necessarily apply to you as an adult, do what works for you. As long as you're not hurting anybody, you're not deceiving anybody, and everybody who's on board is on board, I think it's fine. So even with Neo having these women, if they can't see other people except him, but he can see all of them, and if they know that that's the parameters and they're okay with that, then that's not for us to say that it's wrong because he's okay with it, she's okay, and she's okay, and she's okay, and she's okay with it. Then that's fine for them. You know what I mean? Like we set up all these, not we, me and you, but society sets up all these restrictions on how our existence as human beings is supposed to be. But who is anybody to tell anybody else how to live their life?
Yeah. So before we continue, I'm gonna remove you, and can you add yourself back because you're frozen? I'm gonna remove you. Can you think
I'm frozen?
Yeah, but the conversation was good. I hope the people at home know that the conversation was good. Can you add yourself back?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, so I'm gonna remove you, and you add yourself
I'll
back.
be
Okay.
back. All right.
He made some good points. Cause it got me thinking. I was gonna ask him, why do white people get to explore, but black people get to judge when it comes to sex, not just monogamy? Um,
Am I back? Am I
yes,
back?
yes, you're back, and
Am I moving?
I was just telling. Yes, you're moving and grooving.
All right.
Why do
All right.
white people get to explore, but black people get to judge? I was just saying how white people, white people can walk down the street holding hands and stuff in here in New York. A black person do it, it's frowned upon and stuff. So it's like some people are scared to be who they are. Say whatever about white people, but they be living their lives. They live in their truth, and it's very rare you find a black person that wants to do that and live in their truth. Um, so you know, I know Neo had a lot of backlash about being in a polyamorous relationship. How do you know, I guess being gay does play in being gay and the polyamorous are in the same thing. How? Because they're both different and it scares a normal person. Anything that's
Heterosexual person,
yeah, it's
not a normal
yeah,
person.
mainly, especially a heterosexual man. I feel like they're more nervous of things that are different. White people experiment and call it growth. Black people experiment and it's called reckless.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to stop that stigma, and I just would you ever do one? Would you ever do a polyamorous relationship? And you're smiling like ear to ear.
Well, it's a very interesting question because I have thought about it. Like years ago, it would have been an absolute no, 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 no. But that's because I only saw monogamous relationships. Like that's what I saw, that's what I know, that's what I was taught. So I didn't even see anything outside of that. But now I've grown, I've met different people, I've met people in polyamorous relationships. I've been in my own not polyamorous, but I've been in my own relationships and had thoughts of what would it be like if there were other people involved. And I would say today I'm not against it. Really be as easy for me as monogamy because I feel like I might get jealous a little bit. But at the same time, my mind is expanding more to different ideas of what and how things can be and how things can exist. And you said something interesting too about the gay community. Here we go, the gay thing. But in queer
Oh, they stay
relationships
talking
in
about gay
general,
shit.
but this is relevant to this also because obviously that is a type of relationship too. But in a lot of queer relationships, even though we saw straight people, what we saw was straight people as far as relationships. We saw a man and a woman. So those were the examples that we had. Most of us didn't have an example of what it's like to be in a queer relationship. So we're already kind of seen as deviants. We're already outside of what the norm is. So by us already being outside of the norm just by our regular love, even if we're not monogamous, then it expands your mind to, well, what else is there? Because if my very existence is already wrong, then there is no box for me to be in anymore, which means you can do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy and you and whoever you're involved with happy. And so we kind of play by different rules because we never fit in to the box in the first place.
Yeah. I definitely understand you.
I mean, how do you feel about it? Would you ever?
So a few years ago, before COVID, I think it was, there was a dude that I liked a lot, and he wanted to be in a polyamorous relationship, and I was open-minded, still am, and
Mm-hmm.
he had his heart set on being in a polyamorous relationship. He would do interviews because he wanted two people, And
Wow. Interviews.
yeah, not yeah, he wanted to fill them out, which is understandable. And I'm jealous. I'm the jealous type. I don't really want to be shit. I actually suck at threesomes. I don't even like to. It sounds good, and then when it's time to actually get down to the gritty, and I see you fucking the dude better than how I should be fucking him, then I'm gonna want to fuck him, and then we just gonna have that nigga sore the whole time, and vice versa. Um, I will want it only for the emotional standpoint because I'm the type that I love attention. I love attention. I want to feel love, and to have another person love me is always good. Do I see it currently happening with me currently dating someone who's a stickler? And that's not a bad thing because he's monogamous and he likes monogamy, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. No, right now, no. And that's not because of him. I don't think I can. It's hard enough trying to make him happy. And that's not a bad thing. I just like to go above and beyond. So to add another person, unless that person will strictly just be for sex and this person will be strictly for emotion, because there's many ways you can go about to do it, so yeah, that's my standpoint on it. But monogamy, let's talk about that.
All right.
Do modern relationships ask too much from one person? If we're gonna monogamy, you're basically what I said. Again, not trying to throw him under the bus. He doesn't ask he doesn't ask too much from me, but he wants me to please him sexually. And sometimes that could be pressure because I want to make sure I'm doing a good job. Because it's one thing from having sex with him because I actually like him. It's different from, and whoever sees this, it's different from fucking some dude I met off Jack and Grindr because I'm trying to vibe with them, but I don't see myself with them in a serious manner. So I have more pressure to make sure I please him every time we fuck, every time we have sex, because I see myself with him. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. I understand that, and that's where you are right now, in terms of you and your situation and all that kind of stuff. I get it, and like I said before, if you are somebody who deals with multiple people, like in a polyamorous situation, that's a lot of energy you've got to have for multiple people, and so that's a lot. But some people are up for that challenge, and some people are all right with that. And I have no problem with, anyone who does that. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I'm also open to it maybe one day.
But do you feel modern relationships ask too much from one person? Like monogamy, do you feel like they ask too much from that one person? Because you're just being with that one person. It's different from being in a poly. In a poly, you're going to get the best of both worlds. It's like being verse,
Yeah. I think one thing, if you are going to be in a monogamous relationship, is you must realize from the beginning that the other person is never going to give you everything you want. I mean, if you find somebody who gives you everything you want, consider yourself extremely blessed, because most people, when you find that other person, they're not going to be your everything, nor should they be your everything. You need to come with your own stuff too. You can't expect them to be the sole reason that makes you happy or the sole control of your happiness. That's too much pressure to put on somebody else. So no other person is really going to give you every single thing you want for the most part. And you got to be okay with that if you're going to be in a monogamous relationship. Because there is temptation, I'm sure, for anybody who's in a long-term relationship with one person. Maybe your eye might straight. We're not blind. You might see somebody that you may think looks better or hotter or whatever, which, there's attractive people everywhere. So you're going to see that. But, you might have a thought here or there, or if you're mad at your person, you might go through a thought like, oh, if I was with somebody else, or, those things are gonna come up. But monogamy is, you gotta stay the course if that's what you want.
Is monogamy failing, or are people failing monogamy?
Today, like now.
Yeah, in this era.
I think what's happening in today's era, especially with all the divorces and stuff, because the divorce rate is very high.
Yeah.
And also, there's a lot of people who choose not to get married now, as opposed to back in the day. That was always the goal. You meet your person, you get married, and that's just what you do. And now there's people who are just partnered. I mean, heterosexual people who are partnered and just don't get married or whatever. I think, like I said before, as we evolve as people, we're just kind of learning that you can live your life however you want to. We've been told certain rules and things, but who says you have to live by this or that way? I mean, you got to do what's right for you. And in a relationship, you and whoever you're in a relationship with. So I don't think that we are, uh, what did you say? The way you put it, the monogamy?
Is monogamy,
Define monogamy?
is monogamy failing, or are people failing monogamy?
I don't think either one. I think people are just evolving and just seeing that there are different ways to love each other, different ways to be in relation with each other, different ways to be in relationship with each other. And you really can just kind of create your own relationship however you want it to look. And all these rigid ways that we've been taught in the past are just like kind of archaic in a way, because even the people who were doing it then don't know why they were doing it. They were just doing it because that's what they were taught. The people before them were just doing it because that's what they were taught. You know what I mean?
People say they want monogamy, but they live like they don't. And because I feel like if you with somebody who cheated on you so many times, might as well just either do an open relationship. And here's the difference: is open relationship basically a monogamy, polyamorous, or because an open relationship you're allowed to fuck around and shit, but you still stick with that one person. But I guess monogamy, polyamorous is you with multiple partners.
Right. So that's the difference. In polyamory, you have multiple partners. Like, you are in a relationship with each of these different people. Whereas in an open relationship, you are only with your one person. Y'all may choose to have sex with other people, either together or with, separate from each other. But as far as the relationship itself, you're in a relationship with one person. I don't know if you can still call it monogamous. Well, I guess from a relationship standpoint, it is monogamous because you're the only ones in the relationship, the two of you. But you can have sex with other people. It just can't be any more than that. Yeah.
Do you feel? I'm sorry, I keep looking on him. I took the time to write down notes. That's one of the things I love about doing virtual, because I was able to read my notes. And by the way, shout out to Danny. Danny, we miss you.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be back. He's our
shout out to Danny.
I feel like in a monogamy and polyamorous, people want freedom and security. I mean, in a polyamorous, people want freedom and security. Can a monogamy provide both? I don't think so. Not saying that when you're in monogamy, it's basically a contract, but what freedom are you gonna get? You're with that one person, and that should be happy. That should be more than enough. If that one person is enough for you, then you shouldn't be going looking outside, because if you are, then basically you just want to be in an open relationship or a polyamorous relationship. But at the same time, there's people that don't want to deal with so many partners, because if you treating out one person like shit, and do you have the audacity you want to bring two more people and treat them like shit? So like, Hopefully,
Right.
Leo is treating each of these women with the respect that they deserve. They probably deserve it. I don't know them, but you know,
Right.
so yeah, it's is that you know how do you do both in a monogamous relationship?
I feel like you have to being in any relationship takes a certain level of discipline, but being in a monogamous relationship takes not only discipline but also a monogamous mindset. Because being in a
Mm,
monogamous relationship, I will say this. Let me say it like this. Being monogamous is actually not natural. And when I say that, what I mean is if you look at every animal species, almost every animal species on the planet, most of them are not monogamous. There's only a few animals that are actually monogamous, whereas they find a partner and they stay with that partner for life. And even in us human beings, I don't think monogamy is natural for us because if it were, it wouldn't be so many people who have wandering eyes and always thinking, well, maybe it might be better over here or maybe it might be better over there. When you are in a monogamous relationship, not only do you have to be disciplined, but you have to have a monogamous mindset because being in a monogamous relationship is really a choice. It's a choice that you have to make the whole time you're in that relationship. You have to decide, I know I'm going to see other attractive people. I know I'm going to meet other people who have personalities that, may gel with mine, or I may, meet a coworker or something and start to feel a little something for that person. But I have decided that I am dedicated to this one person. That's a particular mindset. And that's what monogamy is.
stay
It's a
stay right
choice. It's a
stay
choice.
and this was your thoughts on a monogamy.
Hmm.
Okay, what about this? Do people want poly or do they just want permission to avoid accountability?
I think there are people who want poly too. Like I said, I've met people. I have a couple of associates. I don't know if we're friends per se, but I have a couple of associates who are in polyamorous relationships and have been for years, and they're happy. Everybody's doing whatever it is that they want to do, but they're also all honest with each other about whatever they do or who is involved in these relationships. They all talk about it. They talk about testing. They talk about all these things. And I mean, if it works for some people, then obviously, if they're happy too, it must mean that monogamy is not the only way to be happy. Because here's examples of people in non monogamous situations who are also happy.
You got to ask yourself. I wrote some notes down. Who thrives in a polyamorous relationship? I got some key points because these are some
Okay.
key points that you need to have to be in a polyamorous relationship. Communication skills. You have to have
Oh,
communication in order to be in a polyamorous relationship because each person has to understand what what we want, what we're bringing to the table. Um, um, you have to learn how to express yourself because you're not dealing with one person. It's different from me and T. I just say his first letter of his name. Um,
hmm.
One of the things I fuck with him the most, we both communicate. And I hope he looks at this episode. He probably will. Me and him, we communicate so well. Um, and if there's something that he doesn't like, he lets me know. Something that he needs me to work on or approve. Simple. But it's different because I'm just dating him. I ain't
Mm.
dating John, JJ, and Dylan from Boxers on Chelsea Avenue, on Chelsea. You know, um,
Hmm.
you got to have emotional regulation and jealousy because that comes in. There's no way in hell I'm gonna live in a house and we all serving. I don't want to say all serving. We all like the same guy. It's fucking baddie season every fucking day because we're all trying to make this one person happy. But you're doing a better job, Quentin, of making T happy. So I have to make sure I make him happy and make you look bad because it's gonna be It's jealousy. So you have to learn how to control your emotion. Easier said than done. Keep in mind, time, money, and energy. The person that has all these, Neo has to be able to provide money and time and energy for each person. It's mentally draining that you have four women and you have to each give them time, because not every time they're going to want to Netflix and chill all together. They're going to want to go out separately. But Jill doesn't want to go shoe shopping because Cynthia, I'm just saying name. Cynthia wants to go jewelry shopping. But Jessica, she wants to go food shopping. So you have to give time to each person. Poly isn't freedom, it's work, you know? And I'm going hard because I always thought polyamorous was fun. But after hearing stories leading up to this episode, it's work. It's behind the scene work. I think people see polyamorous and they think sex. Oh, they get to have sex with this person, that person. But behind the scenes, they're dealing with other things and to make the polyamorous relationship work that nobody else, me and you, don't see. That's like with a monogamous relationship. But I think is poly harder than a monogamy? I feel like
it depends on who you ask. Because here's the thing. Like, if you are somebody who's definitely not into polyamory, you only want to be in a monogamous relationship, then yes, being in a polyamorous relationship would be hard for you because that's not what you want. On the flip side of that, if you're somebody who doesn't necessarily want just one partner, and you are somebody who feels like you have enough love to go around to multiple people in a relationship sense, not just sex, but in a relationship sense, then monogamy would be hard for you because you would feel like you're just stuck with this one person and there's more of you to go around, or you want more love from somewhere else too. So it's really about the individual that you ask, which one is harder or not, which is why I think it's great that there are different options of whatever makes you as a person happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then also, even with polyamory too, it's not always just like Neo's situation where there's him and then he has his 4 women, but they can't have anybody else.
Yeah.
There's all different types of polyamorous relationships. It could be, let's say there's me and there's 2 other guys, but we're all 3 in a relationship together. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like me and one person over here and one person over here. No, all 3 of us are in a relationship. So maybe, we all sleep in the bed together, all 3 of us. Maybe we have 2 bedrooms and 2 people sleep in one bedroom one night and one sleeps in the other. Maybe they take turns of who's sleeping with who. And when I say sleep, I don't even mean sex. I just mean sleep in the bed with, or spend. To be honest, even being in a monogamous relationship, sometimes you want your own space, right? What if you're in a polygamous relationship where it's 3 of y'all in a relationship? Ooh, I want my alone time tonight. So-and-so and so-and-so are hanging out tonight. They're going to the movies. I'm going to chill by myself. I wanted to be alone. Maybe one of those 2 wants to be alone sometime. And maybe the other 2 are hanging out. You know what I'm saying? So there's different ways that this thing can go too. The possibilities are really endless on any type of relationship. I just say, as long as everybody is on the same page, on board, and nobody's lying or deceiving anybody.
Do you know, before we wrap this up, polyamorous relationships fail because of poor communication. Because nobody is talking and telling each other what they really want. I have a question for the viewers at home, for the people watching on social media, watching on YouTube, and listening on Spotify. I have a question. What scares you more, being alone or sharing? Quentin? For me, it's being alone. Listen, I'll keep it a buck with you. There's days where I moved. So I live out here in Manhattan, East Harlem, to be exact. I get lonely. I do. This is my first time living on my own. I get lonely. But I'm not. Yeah, I get lonely, and it's quiet. That's a pro. This building is fucking quiet, but I still get lonely. I adopted a cat, and but I still get lonely. And there's days where T comes by and he spends the night, and I'm so grateful. But I'd be like, damn, I wish he could stay a whole fucking weekend because now I'm back to being lonely again, And but yeah, I don't like to be alone for a long period of time. I used to, but yeah, being alone is something that I'm not a fan of. But I rather be alone than share because I don't play well with others when it comes to my toys. And, you can think whatever toys you want, but I rather be alone than to share.
Oh, wait. You froze.
I froze. No, you froze.
Maybe we both froze on each other's. Okay, say what you said again then.
You want me to say everything I just said again?
No, sorry, just like the last 5 seconds.
Oh, so there you go. I was just saying, I'd rather be alone than to share because I really don't like to share my toys and everything. I rather be with somebody and have them to myself than to share. I'll be open to a polyamorous relationship, but I have to find the person who's also going to be down with that. I don't want to just be down and they're just down because they're trying to be down for me,
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather just be. I'm more, like I said, I'm more scared of being alone than sharing. What about you?
For me, well, first of all, I don't mind being alone or having time to myself for sure. I
Q,
think that is a product of
Q, can you hear me?
two things. Yeah, can you hear me?
Close out and then come back. Can you froze again?
What?
It's all right. It's
All
our
right,
first time in a long time using it again. It's cool. I'm gonna
all
remove you.
right. Okay.
Good conversation, people. I hope everybody's enjoying. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're back every fucking Monday. Um, and again, we welcome anybody, gay, straight, no Republicans. No Republicans. Hey, Q, finish what you were saying.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
No, I was just saying that as far I have no problem spending time by myself. I think that just comes from I was the only child for like 12 years before my brother came along. So glad he came along. But I'm used to being by myself. Plus, I'm a Scorpio, so that's just kind of a Scorpio thing. But I do like sharing. I do like being in a relationship. I like I like having a companion and a partner and somebody that I know and that knows me and we share things together and getting to share life with somebody. One day I would like that, but I've also been thinking about because dating is hard and it's just all kinds of not
Yeah.
great people or maybe people that you don't mesh with. And I have been thinking, okay, what would life be like if I was just solo for the rest of my life? Or especially in the gay community, at least from what I've seen, there are a lot of older men who are, single. Some of them by choice, some of them because maybe they had a partner or something and they passed or whatever. But I just started thinking about that and I was like, what if I was alone the rest of my life? I think I'd be okay with it as long as I have, friends and activities to do and stuff like that. So I'm not just alone all the time. But in the end, I would like someone to share life with. I would.
And you're fine that because Quentin, you're a stand-up guy. You're
Say that
smart.
again?
I said you're fine that because you're a stand-up guy. You're smart. You're cool. You're easygoing. You're caring. You're loving. You're a beautiful man. I'll leave it at that. Don't want to go any further. Have people get the wrong idea. But yeah, you'll definitely find it.
No,
You'll definitely find it. And I gotta say, I'm trying to
thank
figure out.
you.
You look nice.
Thank you.
You look nice. So,
You know,
but
I always got to be a little extra.
yes. Listen, I wanted to end this at 7:30, and I definitely did. I'm recording this, everybody, but it's, well, come to think about it, if this airs at 6, it's
Yes.
it will probably end like
7.
7. Yeah, 7 basically, because we're at the 50-minute mark. I want to thank everyone who tunes in and watch. We are going to come with a vengeance. We're coming back more consistently.
Yes.
And we love doing this. And I sucks AJ wasn't able to join us. Hopefully we'll get him, because it seems that every time we try to get him on, to even in the in-person studio, something comes up. But that's all right. The message I want to take: love one another. Don't judge someone based off their sexual orientation. And just be kind. Just be kind.
Just be kind.
Just be kind. Tune in next Monday. We'll be back again.
Share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. And see you then.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Bye.